What's up, Sneak Peek? Welcome to my sneaker collection. I started collecting sneakers back in 2015. I was never really into shoes when I was a young kid, and my parents never had any good shoes for me to wear. Like, I always remember in 7th grade, my friend had a pair of KDs that were really colorful, and I always wish I could have those pair. Now, I was wearing these K-Swiss shoes that were blue and had, round bottoms on the bottom of them in gym class, so I never had shoes that were that extravagant growing up. So when I was around 15 years old and finally able to afford a pair of my own, I decided that I wanted to start getting nicer shoes. I started my very own sneaker collection, and I've collected over 165 sneakers in total. That doesn't even count the ones I've bought and sold throughout the years. That's just my personal collection. And today I'm gonna share with you some of my favorite shoes, some of my most expensive pairs, and one pair that started it all. First, let's go to the oldest pair of sneakers that I have. These are the Nike Uptempo Airs. As you can see, they're very yellowed. These are from 2005. This would be when I was 5 years old. There's no way I'm fitting into a size 12 at 5 years old. But I bought this pair because I was always fascinated with the way that this sneaker looked. I got this pair on eBay. They're still wearable, not terrible condition, but for being a shoe that's from 2005, I think it's an interesting piece to hold. Especially being able to wear it, knowing that I wasn't able to fit in this when I was 5 years old. So my Uptempos, my oldest pair of sneakers that I have. My favorite model of shoe is the LeBron 10. This also might be one of my rarer pairs of LeBron 10s. This is the Crown Jewel colorway. I have almost every single LeBron 10 colorway. I only am missing about 4 to 5 of the colorways in total, and I almost have all of them collected. And my goal is to one day get every single LeBron 10. I really like this style because it hugs the top of your ankle, and it also looks very different than any Nike shoe. The swoosh is backwards, which is something that you didn't see on Nikes until this model. To me, it was a real pioneering shoe, especially within the air bubbles underneath. It kind of created an entire new area and new look to basketball sneakers. Now, I think that the LeBron 10 also has the most variety and the most interesting colorways there are. Between the LeBrons, the Crown Jewels, or even the Prisms, they're all so interesting and so different than any other shoe. And my favorite pair of shoes has to be my highlighted ones. Now, I know what you're thinking, what type of shoe is this? Well, this is actually my very own custom sneaker that I got created for myself. I released a song back in high school, it's called Highlighted, so I made myself a pair of highlighted Air Jordan 1s. And as you can see, the microphone is the swoosh. It's embossed with the highlighted logo, which we used for our cover art. And then even the tongue is very specific in saying, Big Hot and Little Freeze with our highlighted logo. And it says January 19th, 2017, because that's when the music video released, which really helped solidify my identity as Big Hot. It really was a pivotal moment, so I wanted to make sure I had shoes. These shoes are also double lace, which are white and red, for Big Hot colors. It's also got some stitching in the back here that's got the flame and the snowflake as well, stitched into the shoe. And the bottom is also custom. It has highlighted on it and it's engraved. Another really cool feature on these shoes, each is a different insole. So the left shoe says Big Hot, and I'll show a close-up of that. And the right shoe says Little Freeze, which is an interesting shoe, something that I can say no one else has this pair of shoe. This is probably the only one out there of this shoe. Who knows, maybe I'll release them one day. Now you might be wondering what my most worn shoe is. Well, actually, to be surprised, it is the Adidas Ultra Boost. This shoe is so comfortable, and this is the shoe I wear on a daily basis. I've got gray, black, red, multiple colors of the Boost. As you can see, I have lots of Yeezys as well, which also kind of constitutes as that Boost feeling. But these are the most comfortable shoes I've ever worn. I have so many different pairs, tried so many different pairs of shoes, and I just really love the way that this feels on my foot. From walking around, going out into the park, or even just going out in your car. These shoes fit awesome, and I don't really think you can get a more comfortable pair than the Boost. Next, I have one of my more rare pair of shoes. And I'm sure just by the box, you can tell what I'm about to show you. I actually hit on the Air Jordan 1 Low fragments when I was at a fair. So, I got these on Sneakers, I have the receipt and everything, and these are actually still dead stock. I have never worn these, never put these on. I look at these more of an investment piece. I really like Travis Scott, and I really like sneakers, so having a shoe like this is so awesome. And for me to keep these dead stock and clean is just another level. I would love to eventually wear them one day or get another pair similar, but these are one of my most rare pairs that I have. Along with the Travises, another honorable mention rare pair are these Kobe snakeskins. One of the reasons I put these in here is because I actually picked these up at a Plato's Closet way back in the day for $25. So obviously you can see how much in value this shoe has grown due to the unforeseen circumstances with the basketball player Kobe Bryant, but that just solidifies this sneaker as one of the rarest ones I have. A snakeskin sneaker to begin with, as well as the Kobe high top, you can't really beat it. This sneaker definitely belongs in my Hall of Fame, and I'll always cherish this pair. Next, I want to get to the pair that started it all, that started my sneaker collecting journey, which would be the Hyper Dunks. Now I know what you're thinking, that's such a weird pair for that to be your first. Well, actually, interestingly enough, these are a Nike ID pair of Hyper Dunks. At the time, I was a big fan of Captain America. So as you can see on the back here, it says IB, which are my initials, and then Captain America, which I thought was so cool because I would be the only ones to have this type of shoe. I still held on to these, and I could still wear them. They still would fit me. I would never get rid of these. These are my very first shoe I ever collected, which started all of this. Started me having all these different pairs of shoes and having the love for sneakers. And the moment you've all been waiting for is, what is my most expensive sneaker? My most expensive sneaker is going to be the Nike Air Mags. Now I know what you're thinking. The Nike Air Mags, really? Yes, these are the 2011 Air Mags. The ones that light up but do not auto lace. So these are the ones that are non-auto lace. However, I bought these way back used, so obviously somebody had them, no box, for around $5,000. This has proven to be a beneficial investment as these shoes are now valued around $11,000 to $12,000 depending on which market you look at. Again, they were worn. I don't know who would wear them. I wouldn't wear them. But it is such an interesting art piece to have a pair of these. There's only a handful of these still around. So I'm very happy to have my hands on a pair of them, and I just have them sitting on my shelf just to look at and admire something that I was actually able to afford. And I was actually able to afford these back in high school when I saved up to buy them. So I'm actually glad I was able to get these, and of course, it'll be a piece of history forever, but my most expensive sneaker by far are these Air Mags, and I'm so happy to have them. I'm glad you got to see some of my sneaker collection. I love sharing it with the world and showing people everything that I have. It's all like art to me. I'm able to look at each shoe as a different colorway, a different size, and it looks like art pieces on my wall. That's how I think of it. So I'm glad that you were able to finally enjoy this with me and kind of take a look into what I actually have. I will be doing a lot of sneaker reviews, sneaker cleanings, and even deep dives on upcoming sneaker releases. That's all what you can find on this sneak peek channel. I'm gonna move all of my sneaker content right here for you to watch it. So I hope you enjoyed this. Smash that like button, and we'll see you on the next one.